Hi, I'm David B. Morse. No, not that other David Morse. And I help create value through communication, which means I'm a negotiator. Bargaining is the creation of partnership and mutual value attainable only by working together. Negotiation is everywhere in life, in family, at work, between colleagues and strangers, in history and today's news. We are social beings, and bargaining is what we do. But working out collaborative solutions isn't always easy. It has two problems, untouched by standard approaches. First, negotiation can be a confusing puzzle. It's dynamic, and each time seems different. How can you reliably navigate the unpredictable landscape of negotiation? Second, the terrain can be rugged. It can involve high stakes. Your hard-earned proficiency with close friends and in everyday situations seems to vanish when unfamiliar people and uncharted environments appear. Where are the tools that turn uncertainty and risk into confidence and success? Today, I'd like to tell you that every single one of you already has the skills to become a good negotiator. All you need do is recognize your innate tools and practice them. And that's easier than you might imagine, even though my journey to that discovery took a tortuous path. Like everyone else, I'm a practitioner of negotiation. I am neither lawyer nor professor, CEO nor diplomat. I gained experience on the job through some spectacular successes and some abysmal failures. Often I'd see my destination, but uncertainty obscured the path. I did, however, have some formal training in detecting patterns. One was a PhD in chemistry, and the other was an MBA in international business. The first I think about is being able to recognize good recipes of all kinds, but you can't taste the food. And the second is practicing with a magic decoder ring for the hidden nuances of global economics. I love searching for the explanations that underlie our most common patterns. And indeed, after years of steady improvement, a negotiation with a boss blindsided me. That experience drove me to search for more reliable answers than those available in traditional approaches. But that formative crisis was long in the making. I was fortunate to gain experience across a broad landscape of responsibilities, frequently trekking over new and unfamiliar slopes. My career started in the lab, moved to management, and then to commercial work. The dynamics inside departments first challenged me, then that for a business overall, and finally between companies across borders. I worked to find more success than failure, searching traditional guides for old answers and new insights. I also benefited from a helpful family, some supportive colleagues, and even some good bosses and customers. The destinations became clearer and more evident with the everyday effort to improve and do better. So for a long time, my wife and I had had a prominent goal to move across a traditional border. Indeed, we had discussed the possibility of living in another country even before getting engaged. And we've reaffirmed that successful negotiation many times over our 35-year partnership. So our opportunity to move overseas eventually did arise, but by then we had 2 teenagers. How could I pull them away from friends and familiar activities, convince them to join the adventure, and not get lost? I could see the destination high on the horizon, but was concerned about the right path forward. At this point in my journey of discovery, intuition primarily guided my approach to negotiation. I'd had about a decade of successes and failures to learn from. And those experiences were within companies, over international terrain, and some personal ones. So I knew enough to take it slow, recognizing the people, our children, were familiar enough, but the situation was brand new and came with high stakes. That decade of experience-based training had guided my instincts enough to recognize the necessary elements. I prepared carefully, and with my negotiation partner, my wife. To focus on the positive, I need to frame the situation as an opportunity, as an exciting adventure. To gain trust, I'd have to present the case, listen attentively for concerns, and reflect them so our kids knew they had been heard. How I didn't approach the discussion was perhaps just as important. I didn't want to use our hierarchical position as parents to order the move. That would have undermined trust and corroded any excitement. In this case, the cost of using leverage would have simply been too high. In the end, that negotiation has been one of my proudest successes, taking everything I had learned, blending the preparation over family dynamics with the engagement of cooperative dialogue. Today, our daughter and son are better world navigators for that experience. The overseas assignment refined my understanding of people dynamics and associations across cultures and languages. Even being yelled at by a foreign customer in broken English helped to enhance my dexterity with interpersonal reciprocity. Even when it's the only option, listening remains a good approach. Those trials steadily improved my negotiations and motivated me to seek even greater insight. With some proficiency in a new language, I could also test, although somewhat haphazardly, language's influence on mental processes, especially on a core aspect of finding mutual solutions, subconscious problem solving. These adventures highlighted the many routes possible for developing cooperation and trust. At first glance, people's behavior often seemed different, but they really were all in the same range. And that experience of living overseas gave me the confidence to tackle even more challenging slopes in negotiation. Personally and professionally, I felt I had an excellent view of the landscape. So then I felt secure as I carried that navigation skill with me when we returned to the US. My inner framework had shifted in my perceptions along with it. While that caused some difficulty in readapting to the US, it kept my senses alert for complex situations. My map for scaling negotiations seemed to come with a reliable toolkit. Upon that return, a new boss assigned me my first project to turn around a large, underperforming department. Earlier in my career, I had counted a similar large-scale negotiation among my failures. But this time, the path seemed clear. Create collaboration by following the routes developed in discussions. And indeed, that project succeeded, from the factory floor to the boss's office. With affirming feedback from around the company and from my boss, I continued the journey, energized by success. Yet as I diligently sought to lead the department to its next level of performance, a massive gap appeared. As I presented new ideas to my boss, he'd hear me out, but nothing seemed to be the right path forward. Eventually, he met my request for yet another pitch session with a stoic, under the breath, "You can present your ideas, Dave, but you're not going to like the answer." I was on a wayward excursion and lost in the landscape. I missed something eminently straightforward. My boss could have his own plans, rightfully so, and could keep them out of sight. Yet his suggestion of collaborative leadership had misdirected me, and I was off on the wrong trailhead. After years of practice, I had completely missed that I was never even in a negotiation. For all my focus, my gaze missed something right in front of my eyes. So with a move to another department for a different assignment, other adventures kept me busy. However, they never managed to get that splinter out of my mind. I scoured traditional approaches to bargaining, but nothing seemed to fit the situation. So I broadened my search from linguistics to sociology and everything in between, trying to work out the missing trail markers. Books like Harari's *Sapiens* and Haidt's *Righteous Mind* and Kahneman's *Thinking, Fast and Slow*. They all hinted at answers but brought little clarity. Pieces of a new map appeared but provided no clear-cut route. After surveying the ideas of a few hundred bright authors, something still remained frustratingly out of reach. I could vaguely see a pattern, but something was missing, perhaps hidden by the trees. Then that proverbial light bulb went off. A single idea sent me down a different path, our inherent skills. It was as if my subconscious had lit up with a brand new magic decoder ring. The barriers to seeing a reliable path forward began falling one after the other. Then the pieces of the new map, began locking in place. The underlying design of our innate toolkits for negotiation crystallized into a sure-footed foundation. Our bedrock capabilities had been hidden in plain sight. Those capabilities are as basic as association and perception, collaboration and dialogue. Yet to see them clearly, the tools had to be defined more structurally and viewed from a broader vantage point. And they connect directly to the activities of bargaining. Cooperation and hierarchy, framing and reciprocity, trust and listening are all based on those inherent skills. The tools assemble into a map for crossing dangerous chasms and moving through more familiar territory. They explain success and failure, simplicity and complexity. The foundations of purposeful communication, that is negotiation, extend and explain far beyond traditional approaches. They provide a clear view of the landscape for bargaining and how to navigate it. In that particular non-negotiation with my boss, I had missed essential aspects required to make collaboration my destination. The most critical set started right at the beginning of the journey, with preparation. Having exceeded my boss's goals, I had assumed that success had built a common association, a united team, a partnership. But while the appearance of cooperation provides a natural trail marker, cooperation also involves a tricky partner, competition. And hierarchy, taken for granted inside an organization, changes the course when excessive control surfaces. And once I charted that off-trail course, other elements and tools of negotiation provided little correction. I never considered if there was trust in the relationship or whether the dialogue was just a discussion. An abrupt end triggered a fundamental review of the experience. For years, I had been on a quest I didn't recognize until an abject failure showed I was missing something in all of us, so apparent with the right vantage point. Our natural abilities are the underlying foundation for other approaches to bargaining. Each of us has the tools to navigate across borders and closer to home. We can gain greater insight, build more confidence, and create higher value. We can be more successful at work, in our communities, and with family. My journey revealed the successful negotiator in all of us. Your journey only requires that you recognize those key tools and practice them. You can be a skillful negotiator. Thank you for listening.